Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh, Satnam. My name is Sukhdev Kaur from Estonia, and I'm going to share with you the 35th Pauri in this Japji series leading up to the European Yoga Festival, where we will be having this beautiful japa together for 24 hours of Japji Sahib. And the 35th Pauri, where we have come now here, is within what we call the Khands, okay, the 5 Khands, the 5 ethereal realms, blue ethers, which are the spaces, the kingdoms which are in the ethers. So as we know, there's 5 elements which make up this world, and these 5 elements are also present in the world beyond, okay, the skies, the akashic realms. So these 5 blue ethers are part of the process which we go through when we are releasing the elements, when we are in the process of death, when we cross the electromagnetic field of the earth, going back home into the divine realm next to God. They are not only realms that we reach when we are in the process of dying. These realms are also available to us, that we can reach through in our meditation, through our study, through our life. We can get to know the wisdom that comes from these different khands or realms. So a little bit of background. Guru Nanak is having again a conversation with the Siddhas, and he's answering the questions of that process beyond this lok, this mad lok, this world here, and is explaining the process of these ethers. So in the last one, you went through the realm of dharma, which is of righteousness, virtue, morality, good actions, honest living, which is kind of a parallel to this earth. This Pauri, the 35th Pauri, ends with 2 lines describing the Dharam Khand, which is the previous realm. And Nanak here, Dharam Khand ka eho dharam, Gian Khand ka ako karam. So he's describing the realm of righteousness is the one that we just previously said is the realm of duty. The aim is to live in that sense of righteousness. Gian Khand ka ho karam. So now we are starting to describe, now Nanak, when he was there with the Siddhas, he said, I'm going to describe now the realm, the function, the aim of the divine knowledge, Gyan. Okay, so it's, we'll stop here for a moment and describe what it means, the Gian Khand. Gyan is, as we know, light of consciousness, divine wisdom that comes when we are aligned, when we are connected. Traditionally, it's been said as Gyan, this wisdom, knowledge comes from reading scriptures, and it's any kind of applied study that we have in life. So whenever we apply our consciousness fully into dedicating, into studying thoroughly a theme which creates that enlightened state of knowing beyond what we used to know, deep study of treatises of enlightened beings, so be it the Vedas, be it any kind of spiritual source of knowledge. Okay? And it is that action, Gyan, is the action of contemplative reflection. When we reflect deeply into what these great beings have said, and we put it through the light of our consciousness ourselves, so that we can set our awareness into any particular topic, go all the way to the end, go in depth, so that this knowledge and wisdom, this knowledge is transformed into wisdom, which is applied intelligence, which is applied consciousness, so that we can go beyond and understand really truly. This whole study that we're doing in this series is we are doing Gyan Yoga. If you may remember from the first video, the introduction of Shiv Charan Singh, which I highly recommend you go back into now when we're almost reaching the end of the series. It's important that when we approach Japji or any sort of important texts, that yes, we practice it, we voice the sounds, because that creates that experience within us. So we read it in Gurmukhi, but at the same time, it's important that we understand what we are reading. So that we have both. One is that experience with has no words of the sound, the nad yoga. And then the Gyan yoga is the one that gives us the understanding of what am I saying in my mouth. So both are highly needed. And this is this realm of Gyan, okay, the wisdom that comes from knowing, from understanding all these divine words. And as you know, with each of these words in Japji, you could spend hours. Each line you can spend hours. So we have very limited time in this series, but it is up to you to explore it further and further and study it in depth. This is what the Gian Khand is inviting us to. So to go deep into a topic that lets you understand yourself, that lets you understand the world, and find the jewel which is hidden behind it. Study it through all possible ways. How does contemplation help me to become a better human? It's not empty intellectual discourse. It's all within the wish or the prayer of this intelligence coming through me, so that I can apply it in the name of wisdom. Wisdom means maturity. It's not empty, raw, dry discourse. Gyan, it means it has gone through me, I have experienced it, and I can share it. And it is a source of inspiration. Okay, it's very different theory than experience wisdom. And Gyan is relating to that depth of that experience wisdom. Kete pavarna parni vasantra, kete kan mahes. Innumerable air, water, fires, all sorts of elements are here, and they are all being created here. Innumerable Krishnas and Shivas. And all of the states of the elements. Air, can I recognize the different source of air within me and outside of me, the different source of fire within me? Can I understand deeply my body, my intellect? Can I recognize the difference from a breeze of inspiration or a wind of change or a storm that cuts through all of my old patterns? Can I see that? Kete, kete, and this word is repeated. It means innumerable, countless, so many. Kete barme gardete gardia, roop rang ke ves. Innumerable Brahmas are being created in this realm of all forms and colors and all sorts of dresses and attires. So we see the world being created when we reach the state of wisdom of the Gian Khand. We also become the wise. So there's many ways of reading the words of Nanak here. When we reach the Gian Khand, we see that all of these beings are here. All of these gods and goddesses, Shiva, Brahma, Vishnu. And at the same time, we also become them. Okay, they help us to reach that state of the wise, the sage. Another way of putting this line is also that in our very limited intellect, we also have the need of having a deity in a form. Yes, Nirankar is always there, and it's beyond words, beyond description. But our poor little mind needs a reference so that it can cross beyond that, that it could reach Nirankar, reach the vastness of God. It sometimes requires forms. So all of the different deities that we have in all of the different traditions, all of the different representations of God, in their different dresses, in their different forms, our mind needs to attach to one of them so that we can download or experience their qualities, the virtue that this is expressing, whether it's compassion, whether it's kindness, whether it's forgiveness. What is it that this particular representation is bringing me, so that we can fully embody those virtues. Even though God is formless, we need to be clear about how do we embody the virtue, and he's still imbued within all of these different sorts of forms and colors, beings of all different forms and colors. Ketya karam pumi mer kete tu updesa. Okay, innumerable earths for action. Karam pumi, it means earths where we can work on our karma. So he's describing all the different planets that we can work our karma in. There's so many planets, so many earths. And Mer, this word, it's referring to the Mount Meru, which is traditionally in very different, in many different traditions, Buddhism, Jainism, Hinduism, it's referred as the center of the world, center of all the realms. So the planet Earth, before it became separated into different continents, the Panagaea, this one continent is called Jambudip. Within this one continent, in the center of this stands Mount Meru, which some people refer to it as being a mythological place. Some people say it's the center of the world, the navel, or the North Pole. Whichever way you put it, it's a mountain. It's a mountain which is kind of upside down, is higher up, and it has a very small base. And on top of this Mount Sumeru is the city of Brahma, the city of gods, where all of the deities live. So this sort of mythological reference is similar of the Mount Meru. Is also what we find, for example, here in Europe with the Vikings, the Asgard, or in the Greek, the Mount Olympus. So what Guru Nanak is bringing our reflection here is that he's saying there's so many of these realms, of these heavens, of these mounts, all in all of the different in all of the different planets, that we can reach those states of being one with the gods. And the representation of Mount Sumeru is very beautifully a metaphor as well for the lotus flower. So in the center of the flower, the petals are the continents, and the Mount Meru is that stem that sprouts in the center, and it's standing up, waiting to receive that inspiration. So we can reach the state in Gian Khand of knowing, realizing all of these different places around the different planets. So the gods' realms, but also the realm of the devotees. Dhru, okay? The Dhru Upadesa. That's the Bhagatas, okay? Dhru is one of the devotees. And so we can reach in Gian Khand when we have the knowledge, when we have our mind one-pointedly put it into a study, we can know the heavens, and we can also know the gods and the devotees. So we can link into that realm of the heavens by being also devotees ourselves. Kete ind chand sur kete mandal des. Numberless, countless Indras, the gods of rain, moons and suns. Okay, Chand, moon. Sur, it means sun. And the numberless galaxies. Mandal, des, it means galaxies, solar systems. So many different galaxies, so many different worlds upon worlds, and suns and stars are there. We can reach that level of understanding how God created all of the universes, how He created all the stars, all the planets, and what is the power that moves them all. Kete sita bhut nath kete devi ves. Numberless siddhas and buddhas and naths, which are the spiritual guides of the yogis, now numberless devis, goddesses in all of the different forms and attires. So traditionally there's the 84 siddhas, which are the people who have attained power through meditation, who have attained the siddhis, the powers over the elements. Historically there's the 9 naths or guides of yogis who have the powers. Interestingly enough, one of them is Patanjali, as history says. Nanak says there is much more than them. We can reach the state that they had in their consciousness by Gian Khand, by reaching Gian Khand, okay, this process of studying ourselves, studying the inner worlds. So in a way, I want to bring another metaphor, because Guru Nanak here is speaking about metaphors, so that we can understand all of these things that, and we have many times gone through this in this Japji series, that it's all indescribable. It's how can I describe all of this? Nanak is saying, he's trying. Language is the only way that I could put it into words, but still words are not enough to describe all of this. And so the Gian Khand is kind of that university realm where we study, where we deeply put ourselves into choosing one path to go, one subject, one theme, and when we reach the deep levels of understanding, and we turn that into wisdom, then we can see all of these different realms. At the same time, we have all of these teachers there. All the siddhas, all the naths, all the buddhas are there to teach us their wisdom. So we just have to connect with that wisdom. And it's very important that we realize Gyan is not only knowledge, which is creating more ego. It's always that knowledge which is giving up my ego into that divine, so that I can receive that divine grace. It's always within the realm of the grace of God. It's never by ego. We can never reach the state of Gyan with our ego. Kete dev danav mun kete ratana samund. Numberless gods and demons, Dev gods, the Nav demons, and Mun, the ascetics who have taken vows of silence, who teach us through their presence. Numberless Ratan Samund, so all kinds of jewels. Samund, it means ocean, so oceans of jewels, all of the different treasures are found here. And if we link to this, our teaching in Kundalini Yoga, that we are supposed to become that diamond. This is what Yogi Bayan always encouraged us, that we can go through the process of chiseling ourselves, um, and becoming so strong throughout all the pressure of time and space that we become transparent and bright, just like a diamond, diamond being the crown of the jewels. This is the chiseling that Gian Yoga, Gian Khand gives us. That from carbon, which is one of the less valuable materials here on Earth, from carbon we can become diamond. From something very soft and worthless, we can become the most beautiful jewel that is available. This is the process that we have to go through understanding, through wisdom, through developing ourselves, through practice, through consciousness and commitment. Okay? Numberless. Ketya Karni, Ketya Barni, Kete Pat Narind. Numberless are the sources of creation beyond the four that we know, the egg, the womb, sweat, and earth. Numberless are the Banis, the forms of speech and languages. So many ways of life, so many languages that we learn here. Ketya, yes, we're reaching the end. So Ketya Surati Sevak Kete Nanak Antanan. So many ways of concentration of the mind. And this is, the consolidation of this whole Pauri is in this Surati. One-pointed, my mind has to become one-pointed so that I can cross into the Samadhi, cross into seeing the Nirankar, which is formless. My mind requires deep study, deep commitment, so that I can go through the eye of the needle and focus my mind 100% so that I can go into get that clarity. It cannot be reached by dispersion. It cannot be reached by staying in that spiritual marketplace, the shopping center, where I'm tasting this and that. It requires deep, deep commitment. So one is the door that will help me to go across. I cannot enter through many doors. I need to take one door, commit to one door, and then the whole world opens. The whole beyond will open. So this is where this is reaching that jewel. Find the jewel, find the treasure within your studies. Apply yourself. Oh Nanak, Antanand, there's no end to his creation. You must see this, you must experience this, but you have to commit. You have to go through the eye of the needle. There's two lines that go beyond this Pauri into the 36, which still describe the Gian Khand. Gian Khand me Gyan Parchan, Dita Naat Vinod Kod Anand. So the light of God's knowledge, the Gyan, is found brightly, shines brightly. The light of God is shining brightly in Gian Khand. Dita Naat Vinod Kod Anand. So heavenly music of the Naad is being played there. All this wisdom turns into music and it becomes anand, it becomes joy and bliss. So whenever I reach that state of deep understanding, and you know how Yogi Baya and Siddha Singh Sahib said, understand, it means to stand under. When you really put yourself under that which you believe, that which you know, and you can see it all. You can see God through it. The 35th Pauri, and Yogi Bayan said, it gives you the capacity to do your duty and fulfill your responsibility. So it is related to that commitment, and it is related to that humility that I'm doing my part in this world. I keep doing my studies. I keep learning to learn. Guru Chala, I'm still student. I keep studying throughout life, even though I may have reached a higher level of understanding, and even though I'm a teacher, I'm still a student. So continuously learning is one way to reach here. You will continue on this journey through the Khands tomorrow as well. So I wish you a beautiful and fruitful study of the Japji, and we'll see you during the japa. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
धर्म खंड का एहो धर्म, ज्ञान खंड का आखो कर्म। केते पवन पानी वै संतर, केते कान महेश। केते बरमे काढ़त कड़िया है, रूप रंग के वेश। केतिया कर्म भूमि मेर केते, केते तू उपदेश। केते इंद्र चंद सूर केते, केते मंडल देश। केते सिद्ध बुद्ध नाथ केते, केते देवी वेश। केते देव दानव मुन केते, केते रतन समुंद। केतिया खाणी केतिया बाणी, केते पात नरिंद। केतिया सुरती सेवक केते, नानक अंत ना अंत।